Coach, we talk all the time about, not walking people and playing clean defense. And look up today, you give up 2 hits and, you're not giving away free passes and giving away free outs, and you win a game pretty much control from start to finish. How would you kind of assess today all the way around?
I think it's probably our best day of the year. Pending the competition level of being in the SEC, and Carson Ligg an unbelievable start, and then Stone stepped on top of it. And we made some great plays, and I call it timely hitting. A lot of times we haven't had as timely hitting. Today I felt like, man, once that inning got going, man, just a guy after guy just gave us a great at bat.
Robbie?
You've had so many of those games that you've been so close if you just make a play here, play there. I mean, how did this feel just to kind of get that weight off your shoulder and get a series win and finally get that SEC series
Well,
win?
it feels good after the last play. When you're sitting there at 6-0, you're never sure in this league. But once you get the last play and man, the kids really responded the last 2 days. I mean, you have, tough night on Friday night. Felt like we kind of gave them some things in that game. And, they came in here Saturday morning. It was, it was tough, and they really responded. And, Carson after that outing last week, I mean, I probably had his best outing he's ever had this week and his worst last week. It just shows you how crazy sports are.
Doug?
Coach, you read my mind. What a difference a week makes. Can you kind of go through and maybe from the way you saw the difference in Carson last week and this week?
I don't want to make excuses, but poor kid, he sits in a dugout for 6 hours while it rains. Last Saturday night, we play in the middle of the night. I think LSU had a great game plan on him, and their hitters were just on some balls early. But I don't, I just think he took it personal and really worked his tail off this week and was going to make us think.
Did we see who he could be today?
Yeah, that's right. And that was pretty special today. When he throws 3 pitches for strikes, it's pretty good.
Steve?
Coach, if my numbers are correct, Hall and Petrie go 3 for 20 this weekend against you guys. Obviously, you had a pretty good game plan. Why were you able to neutralize them the way you were?
Man, I don't know. Park has a little feel because he coached Petrie, before. And he, just when you're from somewhere, you watch them more, you have a better idea more. Those are those guys are going to play baseball for a long time. 2 really, really special players. And man, we're just fortunate. Made some pitches. I think they were able to mix the hard and the soft, which I think was huge.
Sam?
How pleased are you to just come away after that kind of gut-wrenching loss on Friday and then have 2 convincing wins after that?
Really pleased. Go have a cold beer. So that's how pleased I am after the weekend we've had, or really the week we had. To see the kids respond. We know we can play. We've shown that. We've gone and played the toughest places, and like Robbie said, we're play away and whatever. They need some confidence. Hopefully this will give them some confidence, let them enjoy playing baseball. I think that's a big part of it. Have fun.
You talked about how it's important for these guys to relax and have fun playing baseball. How do you feel like in what aspects of the game do you feel like you've seen that over the last 2 days?
Yeah, just big hits. I mean, obviously we pitched well in some parts, but man, just some big hits, and the excitement when you hit a home run and the home run celebrations, and it just playing with a lead, and then being able to. I thought when Joe Powell got that big hit yesterday, I thought it took everybody relaxed and could breathe a little bit. So, and then usually it's contagious. You start to get a little bit more and more.
Robbie?
I asked you about Gat yesterday, and you think back at a lot of these games that some innings spiral because of a play at second base, and he's made so many good plays there at second base this weekend. Just where do you feel like that middle infield is right now, and how much better do you feel like you guys can be with him kind of nailing that spot down?
Yeah, I feel like that's been one of the areas that's just been the toughest. It's probably cost us as much as possible as we haven't defended at second, and I think Gas stabilized that. And he has some great at-bats, on the day too, but he he's just he doesn't say a word, and his blood pressure never goes up, and it's pretty steady. It's not flashy, but he just makes a lot of plays, and he knows where he's supposed to be, and you can count on him. And I think that's what we've needed. Hopefully that does stabilize us, and him and Dylan can play great defense out there.
Doug?
Coach, let's talk about the other guy on the mound today, Stone Simmons. 9 batters, 9 outs. I mean, is that where Stone needs to be now? Has he found his niche?
I think so. And he did it Tuesday night too. He went out there and pitched well. So, and that was good. It was really good. And it saves. This weekend I said it on radio a little while ago. Chase Hungate's performance Yeah, and really Ben Davis. We just don't play defense behind Ben Davis. Man, it sets you up for Sunday to have. I got Nate Williams and Luke Dotson and Ryan McPherson. They're all pissed right now because they didn't get to pitch. But those guys do such a good job. It lets you be able to use, have those guys stacked for Sunday. Because if you have Stone stacked behind those guys on a Sunday, you got a great opportunity.
Steve.
Along those lines too. Now, 4-game road trip coming up. You got to go to UAB and then go to Alabama. You got some guys that didn't pitch this weekend that might be able to help you a couple times next week. I mean, what are your thoughts kind of heading in the state of Alabama next week?
Yeah, it's a big. They're all big now, especially where we put ourselves. So we're going to play UAB. I know they've beaten a couple SEC teams in the midweek, so we got to go and going to Birmingham's huge for us too because we have so many of our fans come out in Birmingham. So hopefully we'll see a bunch of them Tuesday night, and then heading over to Tuscaloosa. You're talking about a top 10 program on the road. So we got to go get some. We got to go and earn something there and play good baseball.
What's it going to take to be able to build off this series in SEC play and the rest of the season in general?
Well, I just think, it's just, we always just talk about the next one. I know it's coach speak, but the reality is hopefully it lets us play a little freer, a little more confident, believe in ourselves a little bit more. Now that they've seen the way, and they know they can play with anybody. It's really been, sometimes when you lose, you're not good enough. Ours has been really frustrating because we feel like we are, and I believe we are, and that's we've given some games away like we spoke about earlier.
Carson, maybe the best start you've ever had here at Mississippi State. What was working for you today? And Coach was talking about last week having to wait all day to find out you were going to play a ball game at all. How was maybe your approach a little different this week?
Yeah, I mean, this week I had all 4 pitches going at least at some point during the game, and last week was pretty crazy, probably like the craziest start I ever had to a game, and I just felt like I couldn't get anything by him, and today was all different. It was just like I was getting everything by him, so yeah.
Robbie.
Specifically, Carson, when you're pitching in this league and you have an outing like that, is it difficult for you to put that behind you and move on to the next week, or has it been kind of easy for you to just let that go down your back and go out there and pitch the way you know you can pitch the next week?
I mean, it's definitely not easy putting that behind you, but you got to, and you got to keep working because every week's a new week. So, yeah, I mean, that was tough last week, and I had to, just focus on my work all week and get prepared for today. So,
Robbie.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Lamonis about the second base position, and it's kind of been a revolving door there. A lot of different guys playing there. He believes that you've had a chance to really nail that position down. How well do you feel like you perform when your name's been called there to go out there and play second base?
Pretty good, and like I said, us having 3 or 4 good second basemen, just in practice, it makes us better. That competition. So,
Steve.
Carson, I asked Coach about this too. The staff holds Hall and Petrie, I think, to 3 for 20 on the weekend, and you pitched around Petrie a little bit. When you can take the other team's 2 best hitters away, it makes it a little easier to win the ball game. So what was kind of the approach, I guess, against those guys?
The approach all weekend was to not throw him strikes and see if he'll get himself out. And if we walk him, just get the next guy, which I think we did walk him a good amount. And that plan really worked. And then today it was more of like we're going to attack him because he's not expecting to get good pitches, and kind of pitch him backwards and get him with a fastball at the end, and we did that. So,
Doug.
Carson asked Coach about kind of the other pitcher on the mound today, Stone Simmons. What does it mean to you when you have somebody who's doing as well as he does, and you don't have to worry about anything because somebody else is coming in and pick up the baton for you?
it's pretty awesome, and he's a great guy. He's really turned into a big leader of the pitching staff, and to have him be the leader that he is, and like the support behind us is awesome. So it's great to have him take the ball from me.
Carson, talk a little bit more about how you were able to utilize the pitches that were working for you today to be able to fill up the zone a lot.
Yeah, the plan the whole day was to show especially their best hitters all 4 pitches and mix and match and find the right spot to put them away with the right pitch. So and I was able to do that and ended up working out pretty good.
Dave.
This is the Carson show today, but you come out there, they're aggressive, they swing at your first pitch. Basically, did it either make you mad or did it settle you down?
I mean, most of the time, first pitch of the game is gonna be a fastball, so you just gotta tip tip the cap, and he made a good swing, and we didn't have a fielder there, and it's kind of the way it goes. So you just got to move on.
Sam.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot with Coach about the defensive issues, particularly in this last month as some of the losses have piled up. But today, 0 errors, and you win 6-0. How much of a stress has that been the last month or so? And you know, when that does, if that can get corrected, how much better do you think it will make the team?
Yeah, I think it can make us a lot better, and just being in there and anticipating each and every pitch is good. And you know, more and more plays, just building confidence in the whole infield is going to make us a lot better.
Robbie.
Yeah, the first time through the order, y'all didn't score, but it seemed like y'all were seeing Stone pretty well. Y'all had, it felt like y'all were barreling up the ball, y'all were putting it in play. What did you feel like was really working for y'all against what he was doing, and especially able to let y'all break through there in the middle innings?
Just staying on pitches. He had a good fastball, and just staying on that fastball and just not focusing on the results but the process, and we finally grounded him out and got to him. So
Steve.
Yeah, there's an old adage in baseball: you make the routine play, you win most of the time. You know, but you guys have struggled at times to make the routine play. But it seems like as you've gotten more comfortable, you've been able to kind of make the extraordinary play. Like today, the big dive and stop out there. I thought you picked it clean at first, and then you throw him out at first. But as far as like settling in, getting comfortable, where are you as far as like showing us your full game?
yeah, still, I mean, just being consistent every day is my goal, and anticipating the next pitch, and just being there, being consistent. That's all I can do. So.
Doug.
Gatlin, second base has been a position where we've had several people move in and out this year. So I want to ask you, how do you balance the competition and the camaraderie with your teammates with that?
Yeah, it's good. It makes each of us better. You know, that competition. We got 4 good guys at second base, and just battling it out every day is good for us. It's been good.
Robbie.
Yeah, talking to you in recruiting, you didn't lack confidence that you were going to come in here and compete right away, and that's what you've done. And what's that transition been like for you coming from junior college to this level? And it seems to be fairly seamless at this point.
It's been tough. The pitching's a lot better here, but just getting more at bats and finding a groove has been good. So.